You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, and welcome to Middle Age Movie Reviews Podcast. I'm Matty D, and I just want to say that this is a special bonus episode this week, as we are currently working on our second half of our Lord of the Rings special. Why don't you kick back, relax, and enjoy this brief segue to a bonus episode of our What You Watchin'? This, of course, hit the cutting room floor on our Indiana Jones, so you guys can check it out.
All right, gentlemen. Well, now that we've reviewed Raiders of the Lost Ark, let's slip back into that old familiar inquiry of what else are you watching and it is worth sharing. So, Rick, we haven't heard from you in a while on what you're watching. So I am curious, what 3,000 paragraph titled anime are you watching now?
Okay, so I got three. All right. First one is Berserk of Gluttony. This anime, because I watch a lot of anime. This anime is about this character who's super weak, and he's got this really weird skill where he's like always hungry, but he doesn't realize it until the show really starts getting going. That the reason why he's always hungry is because his power is to consume the souls of the enemies he defeats. So, and the more he actually defeats enemies, the exponentially more powerful he becomes. So it's one of those zero to hero type of animes. Very, very, very good.
I think they call that Highlander, but I'm just saying.
I think it's that lead movie, The One.
The One, hey baby, that one's pretty good. Executioner and Her Way of Life is another one. This one is really cool. This person who is this special type of executioner who kills heroes summoned from other worlds meets a kind of like an impasse with her goals as an executioner and her target, who seems to befriend. And it's a really, really interesting plot because of this inner conflict between her morals and her goals as an executioner, as well as the conflict that happens outside of herself and in the world of the supernatural and stuff like that. Now, the last one, this one is what you have all been waiting for. It is Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with my low-level spells, and this one is amazing. It's good because it's got an amazingly long title. This one, his character is like super weak. He's summoned into another world with all his classmates, and the first thing that happens is the goddess who summoned him, along with all his classmates, basically said he was the weakest piece of shit, so he has to get teleported to some crazy dungeon that he's probably gonna die in. And like all his classmates were like, yeah, you're a weak piece of shit. You should go to this dungeon. So he's like, what the fuck? Why is everyone being such a dick? And he goes to this thing, and his weak skill is that he can inflict status effects, which normally have a very, very low level of success. But for him, he's got this special, unique skill that makes it so that all his status effects always trigger. So he becomes this super OP character and stuff like that. And he's making his way in order to get his revenge on all the people who betrayed him. So it's a very good vengeance story because it has a title that's a mile long.
Nice. Well, I got to say, Rick, you don't disappoint when it comes to films with extra long titles. All right, Bobby, how about you? You got something a little much shorter title?
I do, but holy cow, I can't top that one. I am watching Lord of the Rings, and this weekend I watched The Hobbits. You have to kind of go in a row if you can, right? So started with The Hobbits, did Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings on Monday, and then the next one will be, I think it's The Two Towers, and I'll watch that. I've been watching these with my youngest son, so we'll probably pick up then and kind of knock out that and Return of the King.
Awesome.
So yeah. And I did listen to your podcast covering that.
Yeah.
It was a few weeks. I think it was September, I think, is when you guys aired it. 2 parts.
Yeah.
pretty neat, pretty good. But yeah, I did see that. So yeah, Tip, I do.
Well, be ready because the Two Towers is coming out soon.
I was wondering as I'm looking at the list, I'm like, well, where's the Two Towers at? Like, there's a little gap there. But
yes, we're going to be coming out that soon, and then we'll be recording later this month. We'll be recording Return of the King.
Nice.
Watch the movies and then go back and see how spot on we are with the podcast.
And I have to say, you're being a great father by watching the movies with your son.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those are like solid classics. Like there's all of these here that we've been talking about are amazing sets of the top 5 all time, and that's after the like Star Wars. We did that a couple of weeks before that as well. Like, like we're knocking out. It's awesome.
Awesome. Have you watched the fan films, the later movies?
Yeah, we don't recommend those. Yeah. They're not real films.
When you say later ones, like
they call them 7, 8, and 9. We call them crap.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, what we were doing is we were watching Andor for a while, watching through the TV series Andor, and then after we finished Andor, I'm like, we have to watch Rogue One, right? So right into Rogue One, and then we kind of continue with that. So it was pretty sweet.
Watch the Clone Wars cartoon. If you didn't watch that is well worth the watch.
Oh yeah.
I want to say yes. This is going back several years, so it's not been recent. But yeah.
Well, Brady probably hadn't seen it though.
Probably not in a while. Yeah. But I hear you guys talk a lot about Star Wars. I was not always a fan of Star Wars in my younger years, but now like definitely
Nice.
Pretty good.
Awesome.
Good.
So that's what I'm doing.
Well, Tim, how about you? What are you watching these days?
So coming off our Halloween 5-episode spectacular, still watching some horror films, kind of wrapping it up for the season, and probably going to move back to some action films. But I did rewatch Interview with a Vampire. I forgot what a nice little homoerotic adventure that is. Watch it with my wife, and her words about it were simply, I keep watching this hoping something's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get to the end and it's going to be a whole lot of nothing, and that was her feel. So she wasn't exactly thrilled with that one. Then we moved on to Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Ooh. I enjoyed that one thoroughly. I'm going to admit, I thought it was a good time.
With Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining film, a very different take on some of Grimm's fairy tales there. So I like that one a lot. And then the final film was Phantoms, and all I can say is Affleck was the bomb. Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, for my shout out, I'm watching now. So I kind of embraced the whole adventure in the 80s, and I decided to go back and reach into my childhood and watch something that I hadn't seen in a long time that just feels so much fun and adventure, and like in the same vein as James Bond. Now, mind you, this movie stars that famous action hero Fred Ward. You might remember Fred Ward from such movies as Tremors. It also has everyone's favorite Doc from The Thing, Wilfred Brimley. I am talking about the 1985 film Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. That's right. The one time when they tried to make a modern day James Bond using a series of novels from the Destroyer series, where Remo Williams is a cop who is selected by the secret organization that works outside of the government, but controls the government, and is being controlled by a guy in a chair that's tied to some 1980s computer room that's in the bank of this New York City bank. And he's there to stop a weapons program that's early parts of Star Wars. It's a lot of fun. It's camp, but it's fun. And it's just a throwback to that 1980s feel. So if you want to check it out, go to Tubi.com and check out Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. And it's got everyone's favorite female captain from Star Trek Voyager. That's right. Kate Mulgrew is our female love interest.
You have completely lost me on that. There was 2 words. Favorite captain in Voyager. None of that adds up at all.
All right. Well, I just want to say, Bobby, thanks for being a part of our show tonight. I'm glad you came by. I'm glad you picked out this movie to review. Thank you so much for being a part of our show this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the invite, and hopefully I'll get another one sometime. But it was wonderful. It was a blast. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right,
for coming.
and our favorite Timo version of Bobby. So, Rick, where else can our listeners hear your talk about all things gamer related?
All right. So if you play any tactical or strategy RPGs, if you play any Souls or Souls-like game, and you want to find information about it, especially if you're struggling with any of these games, you want some tips and tricks and stuff like that, you can come to my YouTube channel. It is a Dungeon Master Elite. There's no spaces. It's Dungeon Master Elite. And I have videos on all these sorts of games. So things like Fell Seal, Arbiter's Mark, Tactics, Ogre, Reborn, Dark Souls, whether it be Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring, any of those things, and many of the other adjacent games. I have walkthroughs and, like I said, tips and tips and tricks. So feel free to come by and learn a couple things, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed.
Thanks for listening to Middle Age Movie Reviews Podcast and our review of Raiders of the Lost Ark. We hope you've enjoyed it because I know we were happy to whip it out for you. And if you did enjoy the review, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Help us grow the MAP community so we can continue to keep you from wasting your precious death clock on crappy movies.
Follow us on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Have a comment or suggestion, then email the show at mamreviewpodcast@gmail.com.
I 100% agree with Noelle's comment on her last paragraph. Definitely. Other than that, thanks, stay cool, and bye, everyone.
There we go. Another one in the can.